My name is Brian Carroll, and I live in Middleton, Wisconsin. Initially, when I started looking, I needed a place to store the wife and I's motorhome. We had it at a different location, and it was just hard to pack and everything, so we wanted to get it close to home for ease of use.
My name is Nick Ermelou. I'm a building sales specialist out of the Verona, Wisconsin branch office for Cleary Buildings. So when I first met with Brian, his needs and wants for a building really revolved around the idea of getting his RV close to home. It's something him and his wife use a lot for vacationing and trips. And at the same time, that presented its own set of problems with us, with the site and some of the zoning issues we had to deal with. One of the big things that really needs for his building was a larger overhead door to accommodate the size of the RV. And with that, kind of how else he wanted to use the building, wanted to have the ability to use it as a shop as well. So we incorporated a couple additional features, a couple additional smaller doors for the building as well. Give Brian some different points of access for his building and the opportunity to put some lifts in the building to work on some cars that he has.
The building we went with was 42 by 48. We went with burgundy and hickory moss. I wanted 12-foot walls initially, and with zoning in Dane County, that wasn't feasible, so Cleary shortened the wall height a bit, but then created a new truss where I could get that clearance back so I could fit my motorhome in.
So the biggest thing we were able to bring for Brian was a solution that he kind of ran into with Dane County zoning. Ultimately, what happened is with a taller door needed for his RV requirements, we ended up having a taller building and actually ended up with a little bit of a height restriction on Dane County zoning. So the solution we were able to come up with is providing his building with a high clearance truss, which actually allowed us to bring the eave height and the overall profile of the building down while maintaining this interior clearance at the middle of the building. This allowed Brian to get that tall door in his building, and then as well, we were still able to accommodate his smaller doors on the sides by incorporating some high lift functions to those doors, keeping the tracks running vertical instead of into the building so we're not disrupting the height near the walls where he wanted to accompany some car lifts for working on cars. So at the end of the day, solution just worked out wonderfully for Brian, satisfied all the needs we had with Dane County zoning, and more importantly, satisfied all the needs that Brian had for his project. And at the end of the day, we're able to get it done for him.
When Nick came over, we started really working with Remaker, and it was awesome. We moved doors, we changed it up quite a bit, changed colors, and I could get a pretty good idea of what the building was going to look like when it was completed, and it came out spot on. It really was. It made the task a lot easier to visually see it and come up with a final product.
With Cleary, we use our DreamMaker software. It's, in my opinion, almost the most important aspect and most important tool that we have working with our clients. I stress the design point a lot with my clients when I meet with them, how important it is up front. And DreamMaker really allows us to provide these 3D visuals for our clients and really work through some options. It's really remarkable from what you can go with having a word-on-word conversation with somebody, following up with them with another meeting, and now having this 3D product to show them and start running through and start giving them a sense of what their building could look like. I really like it working as my job as a sales specialist for my clients, and I think my clients really enjoy it. And while I think it's really, really valuable to them and really, really valuable to me as well as an employee and working for my clients and with my clients. And I think with DreamMaker, that's one of the best aspects of it, is it gets the client involved with us and allows us to have these exchange of ideas and options and run through things, so we're really getting down to finding the right solution and the best solution for our clients at the end of the day.
I looked at 3 other companies and had them out, had them looking at the site, giving me estimates, and the reason I went with Cleary was they were hands-off. I didn't have to do anything. They took care of everything, like handled the details, and they were always there when I called with questions. I never had to wait over an hour for a response. It was just instant. I'd ask the question, they instantly got back with me. It was just fantastic customer service. The crews were wonderful. They came out, and once they start rocking and rolling, it didn't take long at all. I was shocked how quickly the building went up, and how professional they were. They kept everything neat, and it was not a mess. I was really impressed by the quality and the professionalism of the crew.
I think one of my favorite things about my job is just the relationships I'm able to form with people. As you're working with these people and getting to know them, and most importantly, you're able to help people out and solve their problems. In Brian's case, he had wanted this building for years and years, and had always talked about it. And when it finally happened for him, just seeing how happy he was and finally being able to have his building, and it's just a really rewarding feeling at the end of the day. And I drive by his site quite a bit, in my line of work, and it's always a feeling of satisfaction when you drive by and are able to see one of your finished products, and how that helped your client, and how that changed their life to some degree, and just a great feeling. I consider Brian a good friend of mine at this point, and stop by and see him quite a bit, and it's always nice to kind of revisit the site and revisit the project and visit with Brian.
It's funny, shortly after my building was up, we're at a local establishment, and I heard someone talking, and I gave Nick's number out to him, and I said, if you need a building, you need to get a hold of Nick, and he'll take care of you. So I'll be more than happy to promote Cleary Building as great people to work with and a great finished product.